We all had a level, we all had a line.
Okay.
I have a background which goes across and also these days funeral celebrants.
Someone said to me,
Nearly 70, some sort of
She's
retired,
been
not
dragged away.
necessarily by choice.
wet bad
I
weather.
wear like the meat and she can see me. She could line of sight and see
Gig economy, they called it these days. They didn't then when I started.
That's your niece. I wouldn't go, if they had a event called like Transcript Speak, I wouldn't be transcript. I'm not against people. It's, and I, it's just a bit, have some reason to count this one. I think I would say.
It was on the 18th of March, so yeah, so just a month or two. But yeah, I've done freelance work for years.
I mean, it really is now.
Can you hear? Is this volume okay on the live stream? Someone could just give me a comment just to let me know. That'd be great.
I feel like
Some people.
I gradually got into it.
covering that. Are you okay?
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Kate.
That was through, I got Twitter.
Oh, I don't know.
And then I said, are there any groups that are...
No, it's a different...
Hi, Kate.
Kate. Oh, okay. Yep, cool. That's really...
Going
I
back
think that
to
might be a bit relaxed.
I would say like
It's just...
I did a fair bit of that informally.
I don't like that camera angle.
They wouldn't let you do it, would you? No, anyway, that's the sort of thing. But yeah, through it, obviously when you're researching, you come across a lot of
Since October last year. Yeah.
and I met quite a few feminists.
It will fall down, but I don't think there's anything going to
So we're starting this.
Yeah, so
And like every
I guess that
I don't think that's all. And looks like I'll take
from anything from one issue to digestive issues, blood issues,
when it was changed.
also aware that in general, like,
Testing. 2. Testing. Can that be heard on the live stream?
I love that when you put out about the age theory being like an onion.
With the mic on, with the PA? Just let me know.
And then when you stretch the meat, the surface really, really does.
that's right. If there's time, I've written down.
Sweet as. Thanks, Kate.
I was hearing
Thank you, Stone.
Hopefully I'll get into psychiatry.
One is sort of
I just want to
it's just a couple of thoughts on
assistant nursing is fantastic.
organising our thoughts and putting them together and using that week as an example and talking about how you create things as little king-sized things.
Yeah. You have to realise that that's when another kind of people to lose.
Yeah, they're easy to remember. You end up talking to recorders, they become little quotable quotes, sound bites. It's hard to write a short little message from a long one. We can also just talk about and I have this other thing that you might have
It should be all right. I'm already live now. So, yeah, so it's all good.
Adam and Sarah?
I've got the license. That's all right. No, I'm just saying no.
Graham, hi Graham.
And she's Sarah. Just so you know.
Hopeless name.
Oh, but we should have wore.
My dad's name is Graham, so that always
Well, let's just.
Apparently, Michelle was told that a resident in the area saying he wanted to go.
Is everyone in Melbourne for the big event?
Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, exactly. This was like,
It certainly was. I've never seen anything like it myself. And it's also been going on for decades.
Nearly 7 years ago, rally protest at any conference that I'd ever been to.
Oh,
So
really?
I set the benchmark pretty high, set the bar pretty high.
Wow.
I turn up there like when things were getting organised. TRAs.
feel good.
But there's all these other clowns.
Yeah.
There were a couple of godfathers.
There were, yeah, that's right.
Social media. I mean, everyone's weird.
And then there's a anti-vaxxer thing in front of me. Because then we all gradually started.
And yet they can't see it.
That was it.
Here and there.
Yeah, do I can still do it? There were, somebody counted that there were 6 factions. Just remember, 6. There were Nazis, Antifa, there was us, Troons. There was nobody was talking about these drugs. Some of the medical stuff that I've read is red flag, social, Antifa. There were the other people. Not this, national socialist. But it wasn't so that's 4. So there's the medical. The guys involved in the Godfather.
Yeah, there was that sort of.
The Godfather,
And they were just really close. They weren't sort of organised. They were just sort of milling.
I did a little bit and the first thing he told me was about he basically spoke on that issue. And then he started off
Because it really just showed the loan. I mean, the original photo had a couple of other women. It looked better. Made more of a
yeah, you can go around. Yeah, you did too. Yeah. And and the cops like escorted them down Spring Street in front of us. I reckon Dan Andrews was behind all of that. That's right.
When I was sitting at the event, the women's thing was there, and they came up to the steps there, and I didn't see them as
A lot of people will
they just like they weren't like muscle bound.
No, we will all the time, you know, it's all very complicated, you know, they sort of protect.
Yeah, like that cup got up beside him. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I know, it's so cute. I swear they went back to the YMCA.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. But yeah,
I think the government orchestrated presidents.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well, they actually, I think, to align us with
They advertised and the way they were doing their advertising said oppose the right. Yes. So the far right felt like so yeah, we put her and I like it. Yeah. And she's naturally yeah.
I haven't loved it. Oh, you're in
I got those with the toilet too. Yeah. I found a photo of
Oh, no.
some of these yeah, it's all a bit but it gives me some most of those next to each other.
11:51. Okay.
I apologize. I know. It's something that I get up at like hard and I'm just like so on edge. And I'm just like, I'm just bored all the time.
I went to school with
and I didn't see Kyle on so well, but I don't think it's very probably not. Yeah.
my mum used to always have me sometimes.
Oh, dear. I'm not a fan of you now. I'm going to need them.
Differentiate.
But I don't know how long I'm going to stay because I'm going to go to sleep.
So that's why I'm not.
Okay. No, I've been silly. No, I'd rather just stand.
But I just
There's so much sitting at the moment. Hi, Adam. Wait. Hi.
Hi, Graham.
Yeah, we've met before. Yeah, but at the one in December. Yeah,
Yes,
and we've been at the,
Ellen speak.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We all sort of bonded a bit closer then.
We did.
And then we could sell tickets. I didn't pay good money to sell
Yeah. I just bought every morning. Let me, Emma. If you're going to spend positive vibes someone, this is the person right now. You're the one on the
Oh, right.
If we come somewhere else,
Okay. Everyone can hear me okay?
Yes, beautiful.
Awesome. I'm assuming everyone on the live stream can hear. I'm sure they'll say if they can't. Alrighty. Sweet. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to Women's Action Group Women Will Speak Speakers Corner event. My name is Michelle Uriardo and I'm co-founder of Women's Action Group. Thank you. I acknowledge that we gather here today on the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Gulnya Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Women's Action Group have been holding Speakers Corner events now since October last year. And we do this to facilitate a platform for women to speak freely about the adverse impacts of gender identity ideology. A topic we are prevented from speaking openly about anywhere else, free from threats, intimidation and violence. And all because we know A woman is an adult human female. Right? Not only do we know what a woman is, we refuse to lie about it. This line that we hold is seen by today's standards as brave, fearless even. Which is so bizarre, right? Really odd. But of course, we know why that is, which is why we are here today. Courage calls to courage. Now, more so than ever, women's rights and protections must be upheld in policy, in law, and in a civil and decent society. Our hope is that by facilitating this event, you, women, will find the courage to stand your ground, to hold the line, and to know that you do not stand alone. So, if you wish to speak, just raise your hand, and I'll call you up to the mic. Women first, and men last, if we have time. We're live streaming as well, so yeah, just so you know. And if you wish to speak off camera, just let me know, and we can just put you off to the side over here. And just remember to hold the mic close, kiss the mic, and project your voice. Because sometimes, you know, if you mumble and it's just like a loud mumble, it's not really presenting you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to project your voice so that everyone, including those watching at home, can hear you clearly. Okay, so who would like to go first? No one? Excellent. Okay. Come on then. Did you want on camera?
Hi everyone, my name is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
And like many of you here, I suspect, I feel as if I'm living in a parallel universe. On the outside, I'm looking over at another world that has gone completely crazy. It would be hilarious if it were a movie or a comedy skit. But frighteningly, it is very real. This is a world that swears straight-faced that males are females, that females can be males, that humans can be neither males nor females if they feel like it. People in my universe know that is a lie. Over there is a world that, without shame, says that mutilating children is loving care. Where removing healthy body parts, genital mutilation, sterilisation, and lifelong medicalising of children and young adults is not only encouraged, but celebrated. People in my world know that as child abuse. It's a world that says standing up for rights of women and girls is a Nazi plot. A world where my beloved 14-year-old granddaughter says I am a bigot for saying that lesbians don't have a penis. People in my world know this is invasion by men into lesbian spaces, as rape, as lesbian conversion therapy. Over there is a world where little children are taught in schools that they can change sex if they want to. This is indoctrination. A world where convicted sexual predators can say by law that they are women and be put in the women's prisons to continue their sexual predation. This is state-sanctioned sexual assault. It's a world where women's rights activists can be assaulted with police permission and collusion. A world where men are winning women's medals, sports records, scholarships, beauty pageants, grants, employment positions, prizes, and more. A world where men can go into women's change rooms, toilets, refuges, shelters, schools, sports, women's institutes, lesbian camps and dating sites, and more. People in my world know this is erasure of women's rights to same-sex spaces. A world where people believe that men can give birth. People in my world know this to be bullshit. A world where people can change their sex on their birth certificate and other legal documents. A world where language is being changed and mandated en masse to suit a tiny, tiny fraction of the population. A world where books are burned, people threatened with rape or murder, people cancelled and blocked, people's jobs taken away, people taken to court, and more, simply for saying that humans cannot change sex. People in my world know this is violence and coercion. A world where families, friendship groups, communities and organisations are torn apart simply for saying that humans cannot change sex. A world where sexual fetish is becoming more and more normalised and celebrated openly. Where safeguarding boundaries for children are being broken down with drag queen story hours, and minor attracted people are being, pedophiles, are being accommodated by the United Nations. People in my world know this to be patriarchy at its most evil. It's a world where millions are starving, millions are dying in wars, homosexuals are still outlawed and killed, women are raped and murdered every day because they are women, and yet people who claim they are the opposite sex maintain they are the most vilified, marginalised and oppressed people on earth, inevitably facing either suicide or genocide. Crazy. A world where histories and science are being rewritten or invented to prove the existence of humans changing sex from the very beginning of time in every culture on earth. And I could fill many more pages with this insanity. From my vantage point, in my parallel universe, I'm speechless with bewilderment by it all. I am shattered by the masses, both close to me and unknown to me, who have been sucked into this cult. I am incandescent with rage at the lies, the misrepresentation, the slander, the threats and the hate directed at us in my universe. I am grief-stricken by the world that is emerging for my granddaughter to grow up in, when my whole life has been dedicated to the fight to make it a better place for her. But I'm also energised because from this vantage point in my parallel universe, I can see clearly the damage that is being done. My eyes are not clouded. I know the truth, the facts. I see misogyny raising its ugly head again. I see the predatory males finding the loopholes to do their dirty deeds. I see the behaviour of a cult that has captured masses worldwide. I see the money and power motives behind it all. I see the opportunists jumping on this bandwagon for status or a cause or power or money. I see the tactics of no debate, threats, silencing and gaslighting for the abuse and bullying that it is. I see the brainwashing via media, governments and the alphabet soup gang. I see them going for the most vulnerable first and recognise that strategy for the evil it is. I see them, and I will bear witness to their evil, and I will speak out against it. I see you, Mr. Andrews. I see you, Mr. Prosecco. I see you, Mr. Bant.
Yes.
I see you, Mr. Marsh. I see you, Mr. Goldner. I see you, Mr. Biden. I see you, Mr. Mulvaney. I see you, Mr. Willoughby. I see you, Mr. Tomato Soup Thrower. I see you, Mr. Smith. I see you, Mr. Izzard. I see you, Mr. Thomas. I see you, Mr. Hubbard. I see you, Mr. Starmer. I see you, Mr. Tom, Dick and Harry. I see you. And I see all those going along with you. And I loudly condemn and despise what I see. I say no. This woman, this TERF, this elder, this feminist, this grandmother, this lesbian, this women's rights campaigner, this adult human female will not be silenced. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing opening. Thank you so much. I think probably worth a mention. I see you, Mr. Chris Hipkins. What's a woman? I don't have a pre-formulated answer. And then, a week later, is telling everyone, oh, wonderful, Labor has got 50% women. How the hell did he know if he doesn't know what a woman is? Insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, who's next? Everyone's very shy today. Come on up, Lou. Here, put this, you can use this if you like. Just chuck it on there.
Hi everybody, I'm Louise.
Hi, Louise.
So I've sort of got a speech, but it'll be all over the place, so just, bear with me. So we've had a really shitty 6 weeks. The level of anger directed at us is off the charts. This time we're living through doesn't seem real. We've been consciously put in danger for daring to object to losing our single-sex spaces. All of our female language is now transphobic. This country's leaders have told us that we are disgusting, vile people. However, we can stop being labelled as vile and disgusting people if we allow any male to waltz into any and all women's previously single-sex spaces. Not only that, but we're expected to be kind, even though not one jot of kindness has been shown to us. As usual, women have been gaslit to ignore every single concern we have with gender ideology. On one hand, we've been educated to recognise red flags in our lives. On the other hand, we're now being bullied to ignore all of those red flags. The grief that I feel for women and girls' future is debilitating. When women get together, they bond. No man can ever experience that sense of knowing. Our biology is female. No amount of hormones, surgeries, cross-sex dressing up, affirmation will make a male into a female. We don't want you. We reject you. We will laugh at you. We won't be kind. We will treat you like the intruders you are. The autogynephiles who force their disgusting fetish into mainstream media are pathetic. These vile men in their lady clothes and long wavy hair with their dicks poking out have put themselves forward for ridicule. And that's what they'll get. I, don't have to accept these idiots into our female-only spaces. I don't care at all about men's feelings. I care about my feelings. Our leaders couldn't give a fuck about our feelings. Our children and grandchildren are being taught to believe lies. Our children's boundaries have been eroded. Women will fight to protect our kids. Underground now. Parents no longer have the right to fight for their children's safety. Disgusting, vile groomers are now in charge. Every level of government is complicit. The general public is sick of seeing the propaganda, indoctrination being served up relentlessly. We'll work hard to let people know what's going on behind the scenes. Women's space is now obsolete. Dickheads can now whinge and complain if they're told no. It's hate speech to state the obvious. I welcome hate speech. These men have invited hate speech. Too bad.
Good.
So just in case you're wondering, this is the stupid flag. This is what I think of it. You fucking idiots. We're sick. We're so sick of seeing this shit. Now, there you go. Thank you.
Very good.
So, my last bit. So why can't children be allowed to vote, smoke, drive, leave school? If kids are considered by a system to be old enough to make lifelong major decisions about trying to morph into an unattainable identity, then they should be allowed to do all those things. This mass assault on women and girls, sex-based rights, will be remembered. The people enabling this madness will be remembered. We view all of you as betrayers. We are disgusted in you. Women will change the way they vote, the way they write their wills, the way they donate to causes. They will change the businesses that they will support. It's not our job to pander to men who want to force us to let them play at dress-ups. You look like idiots. No one sees you as women. We see you as invaders, like an enemy. So fuck off. Make your own spaces. You will never be one of us, ever. Don't bother chucking the suicide card in our faces. Get help if you need it. After all therapists are now forced to pander to your warped view of your trans rights. I'd rather be transphobic, whatever that is, than be a liar.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't tend to start any speech, post, or whatever with, I'm not transphobic, but... and the reason I don't do that is because there's no such thing as humans changing sex. It's a lie. So why would I pander to the language? It's a misnomer to say transgender.
Bullshit.
It is. No man can ever be a woman. No woman can ever be a man. We know the, da-da-da-da-da. No children are born in the wrong bodies. What a ridiculous, outrageous idea. Absolute insanity. I think I said that before. Okay. Who would like to go next? Oh. Come on up, Juanita. There you go. Nice and close.
Hello everyone, my name's Juanita and I thought I'd go after Louise because we actually went on a road trip together. We did. And we had a wonderful time and we went up to Canberra and did Let Women Speak in Canberra as well and got to witness the madness. But what I mainly wanted to talk about today was I actually read an article in the Spectator UK last night and it actually explained the real basics of what's actually going on. And at the end of the day, there's a lawyer firm, I think it's called Denton's, that have actually, the end goal is to actually take away the parental rights from parents of their own children. And that is the end goal, is what's actually going on. And to me, that's complete and utter madness, because as a parent, it is your place to raise your children. And for me, seeing what's going on with all these young women that are carving up their bodies, not knowing what they're giving away, is so horrific. As a woman, I was not given the opportunity to be a parent. My womb wouldn't work for whatever reason. So I know what it feels like to be childless and never be able to procreate. And these young women have no idea what they're actually giving away. And they think, oh, but I'll just get a surrogate when I'm older. And yet, the surrogate, the women that might be able to do that aren't going to be there. And the women that do have babies don't give up their babies anymore, because you don't have to be a single parent. You can be a single parent today, and you can financially support yourself and your child. So babies are not being given up anymore. It just doesn't happen. So when you go and carve up your body, because you think what these other people are telling you, you've actually lost something that you can never ever get. And if you think you can get it later on, there's going to be even less women who are able to actually carry a child available. So everyone's going to be having their own babies for themselves. They're not going to want to give up their bodies so that you can try and have a baby later. And so basically our bodies are being turned into body parts. We're no longer classified as women, and yet we are women, and it doesn't matter if we're a woman wearing a pair of jeans or women wearing an after 5 dinner frock. We are women, we come in many sizes and shapes, and we come with many thought patterns and many thinking, but at the end of the day we know who we are. And what I've found the most puzzling in this whole experience of what's going on is the amount of young women that are giving up their rights and they don't even know they're doing it. They don't know what their great-grandmothers fought for so that we could stand up and say what we wanted to say. You know, my grandfathers, both my grandfathers fought in the wars so that we would have freedom of speech, we would have freedom of thought, which was not what was trying to happen over in Europe. And yet today, these people don't want us to have freedom of thought and freedom in any way whatsoever. They just want control. And for myself, I've had to battle members of my own family with all of this, and some of them have walked away because I dare to say a female is a female and we need our female-only spaces. It's not wrong for us to want female-only spaces. All that's ever needed was male space, female space, gender diverse space. It's not hard. It's easy to do, and yet we're watching around the world every day. I'm seeing news stories coming up of men competing in women's sport and winning, taking away prizes, prize money, taking away medals, taking away positions that young women have worked very hard for their entire lives and being stripped away. We've seen, you know, I don't like to call out people too much, but you know, we saw a ballet dancer, you know, competing, and and yet they're not even at the level of the other ballerinas. In that, if you want to do ballet, go and do it, but you shouldn't be there just because you're a biological male and get a free ride. You know, you should be there because you deserve to be there because you have the skills to be there. And clearly this person doesn't have the skills, and that is just so appalling. It's, I don't know. Yeah, it just blows my mind.
But
that
women are ballerinas. Women are ballerinas.
Women are ballerinas, correct, yeah. It just blows my mind how many women are going along with, oh, but it's complicated. I spoke to someone today when I went to a bookshop looking for some, you know, gender critical books, and she said, oh, it's quite complicated. And I said, no, it's not. It's not complicated. We need female-only spaces. I then quickly said to her, do you realise there's males going into female spaces? And there's a guy in Peru doing it at the moment who's got, you know, puts on pigtails and is going in a school uniform into schools. And they've gone into his home and found photos of him where he's done it to other schools. So because of self-ID legislation, any man can utter those magic words, I'm a woman today, and legally come into our spaces. If a man goes into a men's toilet and flashes in front of a 9-year-old boy, he'll get arrested. If he comes into a women's toilet and flashes in front of a 9-year-old girl, he doesn't get arrested. The woman that complains about it gets kicked out, but he gets a free pass. So the self-ID law actually means any male predator can come in and flash in front of us. That's what you've done, Daniel Andrews. That's what you've done, Natalie Hutchins. You have not given us space for us. You've taken our space away and you've given it to men, and that is not okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Who would like to go next? Oh, yep.
Hi, I'm Fiona. I don't have a speech prepared and I'm not very good at this, but I've mentioned before at one of these events that I work in healthcare in the public system in hospitals, and you don't even have to work in it, and I don't have to tell any of you how captured it is. You only have to follow any institution, organisation or hospital on Facebook or just walk into their main reception. It's freaking everywhere. They've got -18 posters all over the walls and behind, you know, the desk of the receptions with their stripes. You know, all identities, sexualities, pronouns, cultures welcome here. It's coming right from the top as well. APRA changed their logo to rainbow colours recently to celebrate, I think, World Pride or Mardi Gras, whatever it was. They also posted in support of the Trans Day of Visibility because they need another day. And where I work, they put up trans flags all over the front reception as well on that day. If they're looking to be visible, they've achieved that. We can see you, boys. Basically, all I just wanted to say, and I don't know why I haven't thought of this before, I'm sure a lot of you probably have thought of this, I'm not trying to pioneer it or anything, but I think it probably means a lot from consumers of the system. And if you're there just like for an appointment, or if you're a recipient of care yourself, you're visiting someone, taking someone for an appointment, if you have the chance to give feedback, please use it. Especially if it's written down, they can't ignore it. I know where I work on the wards, if there is written feedback from patients, it actually, on the feedback forms, it goes straight to the manager and she has to read all of them and respond to them. Right? So I don't know what it's like at the central level, that's just on the wards where I work, but I imagine, you know, they'd have to take it seriously. So if there's any feedback form or whatever that's provided to you, please use it to speak out, or ask for a feedback form from the front desk, ask for an email address of someone that you can write to and say, I walked in here today, I'm receiving care, and I'm offended by that. Because it is offensive. I'm offended by it every day. You know, they've put the flag stickers on every door, every entrance to the car park, every nurse's station window, admin office window, just everywhere. Where is all this fuss about people with disabilities? They actually need help to access stuff. They actually need recognition and visibility. They actually have a difference. You know, where is the fuss there? And don't lump them in with the trans train either. You know, give them the actual recognition, funding and whatever that they need. Because it's coming from the top, as I said, from APRA, and if APRA, who I pay my registration fees to, don't know what a man or a woman is, how is anyone going to be safe when they're receiving care? It's not safe. I refuse to tell their lies, and I refuse to put myself, my female colleagues and my female patients in danger for their agenda. Thank you.
Thank goodness for feed. Okay. Our next speaker is going to be off camera. So just come over here, just so we don't get feedback. Yep, right there.
Hi everyone. I've spoken before, but I thought I'd speak on this because it's deeply important to me, and it's a great segue from yours, Fiona. I really want to stand up for autistic girls. Autistic girls are being really harmed by this agenda. Autistic girls don't present feminine, or what I call the 1950s archetype. More often or not, autistic girls don't want to put on the frilly dresses or wear the pearl necklaces or wear the stilettos, but we're women. And I'm so sick and tired of this idea that once a man, quote, becomes a woman, they seem to have this like weird thing that they've got to dress as if they're in an episode of, I don't know, Bewitched or some 1950s claptrap, or porn or anything like that, because apparently to be a woman means basically to do that. I've not really seen any, quote, famous trans women, you know, wear tracksuits or, you know, be really tired, so you haven't washed your hair in like 3 weeks, or like, you know, having children to run around, or being, you know, in chronic pain with things like PCOS or endometriosis. You don't see that in the trans women's movement. You see this glitzy, glamorous thing that is just like so detached from reality. So, you know, and it's not just autistic girls, autistic boys are being harmed by this because they're not, quote, masculine in some ways or shapes or form either. I think that the trans movement has actually gone to the most vulnerable, and because autistic people don't necessarily understand the social cues, understand the social implications of something. If a professional says to, a person with autism, actually, this is what you are, and, we can give you hormones and we can help you do that journey, the child is more likely to believe and have a trust in authority, because that's what we're told as kids. If your teacher says something, respect your teacher, all of this sort of stuff. And autistic people have been really run over by this. And I'm so sick to death of, this caricature. And, I think that it's fantastic that in a situation with the Bud Light stuff, which isn't to be anyway, so it's quite apt that a non-woman is produced publicising a non-beer. But anyway, we can talk about my favourite beer at another time. But the situation is that this caricature, this man is now promoting this product, and they lose 5 billion basically overnight, because working class men in flyover states in America were like, well, fuck you, and didn't really buy the beer anymore. So it is really incredible that actually waking up to a lot of this is making people boycott, making people say no thanks, making people say no, not anymore. And yeah, you can be a woman and not be a 1950s housewife stereotype. And that's my message today. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Last speaker just made a really, really good point, and something, of course, most of us women have noticed for a while now. These men aren't getting dysphoria over not doing the vacuuming, or the dishes, or the washing.
Waking up and doing the night feeds.
Or waking up and doing the night feeds. Where are yous, bro?
Unpaid female labour.
Yeah, there you go. Unpaid female labour. They're not interested in that. For some reason, they're not, dysphoric about it.
About hair and makeup.
Yeah, hair and makeup. Of course, all of us women are into that. No, that's not true. Of course it's not. Anyway, who would like to go next? You've probably got time for two more. Yeah, come on.
All right.
Did you want off or off camera?
Yep.
Or-
So, it's last October. I'm sitting in my kitchen with a bunch of girls who are my daughter's friends, teenage friends. And they're having a good old girl gossip about makeovers and the makeovers that they're going to give themselves this year. Except, of course, because these girls all think they're boys, the makeover that they want is taking testosterone. They're going to give themselves beards, they're going to give themselves muscles, they're going to give themselves male pattern baldness, vaginal atrophy, increased chance of heart attack, all of that stuff that we know about that they completely discount. And this is being enabled by doctors who must know what's going on. They must have read the Westmead study that shows that 88% of these kids were not mentally harmed. They still had mental health issues after 4 to 9 years of going through that process. There were 9 to 20% of kids who gave it up completely. These doctors know that, and they are willing to continue to enable this. What do you say about that?
Get fucked.
I don't know what to say about that, so I'm going to sing about it instead. I don't know how this is going to work with the microphone, but I'm going to give it a shot. They want to give our girls a T-jab, but we say no, no, no. We're all aware that medical care just blows. I love this child of mine, and her natural body's fine. They say it's good to have a T-jab, but that ain't so. We're sorry, but it's just a fact that what you've caught away just won't grow back. And we know who'll be left twisting in the breeze once they start regretting surgeries. We'll be watching as the victims start to sue, 'cause we know what's in the cast review. They want to give our girls a T-jab, but we say no, no, no. We're all aware that medical care just blows. I love this child of mine, and her natural body's fine. They say it's good to have a T-jab, that ain't so. They say, why don't you have a T-jab? But we say, no, no, no.
Oh, love me some Amy Winehouse. Thank you. I think that's the first song. We've had at Speaker's Corner.
Won't be the last.
Won't be the last. You heard it here first, folks. Won't be the last. Okay.
Looking forward to the album.
It's going to be an album release. Who would like to go next? No? Actually, what's the time? We've got
1:15.
Okay, 1:15. So, no one else wants to speak? Woman, I mean? No woman? Okay, in that case, I'll hand it over to the men. Would you like to speak? Yeah, come on.
While he's coming up.
You want the mic? Oh.
Hi, Kate.
Hello, good to see people that I met at the event, the big thing. That's right, up there. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you. Just briefly, my background includes many years working in advertising and script writing and corporate communications. And so just in case it's useful to anyone, I'd like to share a couple of proven ways in which we can create and express our gender-critical messages to get maximum impact. So let's say that we wanted to write a letter or an article or a presentation for a video or a podcast. A good starting point can be to craft our main message so that it fits into one tweet, just one tweet, which is 280 characters. Even if you're not on Twitter, this means anyone else can share your message as a tweet. Now, we've all heard Posey Parker's core statement, which is women don't have penises, men don't have vaginas. There is no such thing as non-binary, and transitioning children is abuse. Now, that fits into a tweet, and it's easy to remember and share. Just a couple of examples that I use that resonate with people all around the place, and you can fit quite a lot into one tweet. So this is just one tweet. Womanhood is not a happy pill for sick men. Female spaces are not playpens for adult males who never grew up. Women are not human shields for males who are scared of other men. Women's sport is not a dumping ground for weak men. There's a lot, if you work on it, there's a lot you can get into one tweet. And another one, which does the rounds, is this one. Like an onion, queer theory is made up of layers. And after you peel off the manipulative outer layers of be kind and inclusion, you will always arrive at the same three inner layers: misogyny, male sexual arousal, and access to children. So that's then what we can do. So we've got one tweet. Then we can say we can expand that main message to say about 4 tweets or so. So you now have 4 clear, concise points that are easily remembered and shared, and you've got a structure for this longer message you may want to craft. So here's a 4-tweet thing that I use, and each one is an independent tweet. Like, they work together, but because they're independent, and different ones get shared or retweeted by different people, or because I sort of keep them all in a big document too, is I can take any one and use it as a reply to something that's going on. or whatever. But this is a 4-1. So the first one is, let's be totally clear about the trans cult. At its core, it's a male supremacy movement. Many of the males involved don't give a stuff about trans, but use the activism as a shield for their increasingly violent misogyny. To these men, women must be controlled and dominated. So that's the first one. Second one, this cult encourages the most toxic form of masculinity, a deeply primitive rage, the same fury we see expressed during domestic violence, and the same immorality that can see rape used as a weapon of war. This is a state-sanctioned and state-supported war on women. The third tweet, what's unfolding stems from a toxic blend of DV, VAWG, rape culture and misogyny masquerading as a civil rights movement. It's not. Instead, it's a direct attack not just on today's cohort of women, but on the memory and legacy of every female ancestor of every activist. And the fourth tweet is, vulnerable women who have been captured by this cult and female allies will not be immune to this male rage and entitlement. Predatory men will find easy pickings amongst women who've been brainwashed into believing that boundaries are regressive and need to be dismantled. The thing
Your silence will not protect you.
That's right. The final thing I'll leave you with, finish with, is a message that's just a fraction longer than a tweet, so you can turn that into an image. So this is text written on an image. And it's something that does resonate with a lot of people. It's aimed at men and to be shared with men, and for men to adopt this. And it's called the acknowledgement of women. And I'll leave you with this. I acknowledge the sex class of human females as the natural and exclusive bearers of womanhood and motherhood. I respect their rights to exclude men from every facet of life where girls and women require safety, privacy, and dignity. I reject the misogyny of all males who seek to disrupt or colonise their spaces, services, and language.
Thank you so much. Some wonderful tips that we've had today. Thank you so much to all the speakers. Actually, just one more time. No one else? Does anyone else want to come up and say anything at all? No? Okay, speak now, forever hold your... Oh, yes. Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah, over here. Have one more speaker. Just right.
Afternoon, everyone. I've spoken before, and I got into this nonsense through a breastfeeding charity that I was active with from 2007 in the UK. This is one of the first charities that was openly captured by queer theory and gender ideology. And I've thought for a long time that the best place to fight is from the inside. So I remained a member. I'm still nominally a member, even though they have made it very clear that they want me to leave. As long as I keep paying my membership, they can't force me to leave. So, but you know, it's like now I wonder if it's worth the £20 a year registration. So, you know, the language started with lactating people and stuff like that, and chest feeding, and you were told in no uncertain terms to shut up. But you know, it's grown exponentially from there, and I saw it coming all you know, these trained supporters work behind the scenes with other trained supporters globally. So that's been, you know, social media has been a wonderful thing to get women to support other women with breastfeeding and birth, but it's also brought a lot of harm
with spreading the ideology among the trained women who, for many reasons, and I think, I know some of the reasons why this has become dominated by the groupthink. But one of the things that's been bothering me recently is an old photo of a woman who is clearly been on testosterone, giving birth, and her partner, who is considering himself to be the mother, actually catching the baby in a birth pool. And it came up a few months ago, and it came up again last night, which is why I'm here talking, because I'd like to sort of give people information, because people just go, oh, it's abuse, oh, it's poison, and we don't see, most people don't have the language or the knowledge behind what comes next. To me, I'm really sort of reluctant to say it's abuse, it's poison, without knowing the information of how you arrived at that. I know it's instinctive, and we know it viscerally that this is wrong. But, if anybody would like to think of any questions as to why, after I finish my spiel, please feel free to question me, because there's no way I can be thorough and address what you might want to actually know. But from what I know is that for a man to lactate, he would have to suppress his testosterone. And testosterone is suppressed with a hormone called spironolactone. Now, spironolactone is used to shrink prostate cancer. They found out that one of the side effects of shrinking prostate cancer is that it stimulates the hypothalamus to produce the same hormone that will cause women to lactate. So this is how we have arrived at babies being put to the male breast with milk to lactate. Now, he will be on a drug that's a chemotherapy drug, giving a chemotherapy drug in his system to a newborn. You read for that what you want, but remember that the baby has immature gonads, whether this is a female baby or a male baby. It has immature gonads, and that drug will affect that baby's gonads. It will affect their entire endocrine system. This is going to mean the liver, the spleen. This will mean, likewise with women taking testosterone and then breastfeeding, quote unquote, again, a baby. We don't know what the effect will be. We do know that it affects the metabolism of the baby. And our metabolism is going to decide whether or not we will develop different metabolic diseases later on in life. Whatever we give a child in the first 6 months of life is going to echo down that child's lifetime. Many of us are pre-diabetic now, and we're diabetic now because we were probably not breastfed the way that our bodies expected it when we were babies under the age of 6 months to a year. So think of this. Now, the other thing is, the other hormone that these men will be taking is estrogen. This is not the female estrogen. This is a manufactured estrogen. We do not know what effect having exogenous estrogen in really high amounts going to be doing to a baby's endocrine system again. I do know of one case of a woman who is active in Lecce, Canada, who breastfed and took testosterone prior to breastfeeding, because she would have to come off testosterone in order to lactate. But that stuff is in her system, and this child, maybe it's coincidence, this is just an anecdote. It's a N1 experiment that she's conducted. This child now is diabetic. So we have to think, this is the danger that these women who have professional qualifications, who have responsibility with safeguarding, are putting babies at risk of, and they're doing it because of money and prestige and careers. They're not doing it for the baby. Now, the other extent of this grooming is that they're grooming all these young trainees into this system. So the whole cohort of these newly trained breastfeeding supporters are it's so enmeshed into the system that there's no way I would recommend anyone to go to these women. They're looking after women who are at the most vulnerable parts of their lives, when they're struggling with breastfeeding, when they're reshaping their identities as mothers and women. During the first year of motherhood is the time of year that violence against mothers increases. And it's the time of year, that's the period of time when women are most likely to commit suicide. And then we're screwing up their whole perception of what it means to be a mother. So, it's such a corrupt, horrible miasma of a system that I really don't know where to start. And whenever I question them, they shut me down. And every now and then I get some good ones in. So yeah, I'll just keep plugging away in my own little way, but we do what we can do. So anyone's got any questions? No? I mean, I could go on and on, but I'll stop there because... Thank you so much. Yeah, really interesting information, isn't it? It is an entire contamination upon society. There's just nothing that is left untouched by this hydra, this beast. And it is many-headed. And it is dangerous. And it's coming for our children and our grandchildren. And for us, of course, obviously. I'm too old, they can't brainwash me. But, it's the younger generations, As a parent, don't go on the speaker, Dale. Yeah. As a parent, it's frightening. I'll be honest, it's really, really frightening, what they are indoctrinating children with these days. And it's not just in schools either, but, obviously school is a very important, aspect to it, to the indoctrination of children. But it's in the music, it's in the arts, it's in, movies and TV series and, all the stuff that kids love. And of course, a lot of our kids now, they spend time online, when they're in school. They're expected to have an iPad because basically that's, the teaching is coming, the courses and all the information, they're sent to websites to gather it. Unlike our days, a pen and a book, handwriting. Yeah, that's right, the Encyclopedia Britannica. Yes, we had a set. But anyway, so thank you so much, everyone, for coming along today. We really appreciate the support. Keep an eye out for your emails as well, because we are going to be putting out the call for marshals, and we will be starting marshal training very soon, but the details will be in the email, and you can respond to that email. Anyone got anything else to say, or can we wrap up?
Thank you, Michelle.
Oh, no worries.
Thank you.
Come on up, Carol.
I just wanted to do a shout out to everybody to erase trans rights activism, or TRAs, from our language. Activism has a proud history, and they are not activists. We can't be proud of them. And trans rights, well, enough said. So they are anti-women protesters. Get rid of TRA. Right out of our language, they are anti-women protesters. Thank you.
Thank you. And just one last thing. Thank you so much to the organising team who helped me organise this Speakers Corner event. Women Will Speak today. And hope to see you next month. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Right next to him.